Hey Sagittarius. So I got the sword. Oh, because I'm pulling from this archetypes deck. And welcome to August 2020. Did I not say any of that? So the sword is kind of a cool archetype. It's definitely one, according to this book, it's about like making decisions and also like decisive decisions. So not like hemming and hawing, right? Like with a sword, if you must make a sacrifice, for example, um, you don't want to like cut like 1,000 times and kill someone or whatever. Like, you want swift, decisive action. That's what it's saying. Like, you want to like get the job done in one fell swoop. You don't want to like, just like kind of like, sorry, Sagittarius, it is what it is. It's just saying it's kind of like if you were trying to break up with someone. Like, let's put it that way, right? Instead of violent imagery. Um, if you keep being like teasing your partner that you should break up when what you really want is a breakup, then it's like you're like hurting, like you're chipping away at them. And that's mean. It's like, just if you know what you want, get it done. Like, so that's kind of the message with the sword, is like, know what you want and then do it. And then like do it clearly, because like kind of the gift of the sword too is like um it's like boundaries, right? Like, just set the boundary and don't make a big deal about it, just do it. Like, it's kind of like all the, sometimes like trying to protect people from their feelings like ultimately like hurts them more in the long run, because you're not just being um clear. And there is definitely like clarity with the sword, and the sword is air energy, and the sword is also like words and writing. So I think it's like also to be careful and deliberate with your words. I saw a sign that was like, don't make it sound like maybe when what you really mean is no. The sort of the archetypal energy that we're dealing with. Okay, and then I got the Prism Tarot, so I'm going to pull from that. And I'm no longer reading reversals on this one, because not, I'll read reversals on some decks, but this deck, as you'll see, kind of has its own vibe, so I decided to honor that in the Scorpio reading. That's where I learned it, so I'm learning as I go. Nice. Okay. So this deck, as you can see, it has words on it. And so I was like, why would you read it reversed? Just doesn't like feel like what it wants to be. Okay. So we got the Oracle of Clouds. This is feminine air energy and perceptive. So yeah, I mean, dude, we were just talking like the sword and like this air energy here with like words and like kind of knowing what you want and then making those choices. This card also talked about how like life is kind of a series of decisions that we make. And so with the perception, I think it's like, I was thinking about this for me. There was a time, I'm like reading over my old journals from 2018, and there was a time when I was kind of just being bullied at school, basically. Grad school, but nonetheless. I guess school is school, right? So I was being bullied. But part of like what made the circumstance hard was that I was like taking in too much of, I was like gaslighting myself, basically. And so with this perception here, I feel like the message is like, dude, Sagittarius, you know what you know. Like, if you're feeling like a gut reaction around someone, that's real. Like, trust that. And then set the boundary. That's what that is. It's like, your perception is correct. Don't gaslight yourself. Don't deny yourself. your truth just to like save someone else's feelings. Like, honor you because you're seeing clearly, basically. So it's like, see what you see and then do something about it. Okay. Let's see what else comes up. We got love this. Love this. Haha. Interesting. Come up for a lot of signs. And this is the cloud's new idea. And Oracle of Lightning, determination. So, I mean, this judgment feels appropriate. Like, I think that this moment in August is kind of, again, about boundaries. But I think it's like, with the seeing clearly, too. It's just sort of like you can't be in denial anymore. You have to get real about your circumstances and what you're facing and to do something about it. And so this reckoning, I mean, we are in the middle of the apocalypse, right? And that's been true for most of 2020. So I think you're just coming up to the point in the apocalypse where it's like, now or never a little bit. Like, you got to step up into, I just want to say, making some choices that really honor the life you want to be living instead of the life that you've been living for the convenience or benefit of others for some reason. Because we got this defeat too, and with the defeat I just feel kind of like yeah, like there needs to be this change because I think there's a lot of good stuff ahead of you. And I mean, like, we got like this new ideas on the horizon, we got this determination, we got this. So it's like, I think that in order for you to really fully step into like honoring your true self, it's that you kind of have to clear some of the clutter or the mess. For me, I'm thinking August might be a good month to literally do a deep dive clean on my room. You know, and that can be like a symbolic, sacred, spiritual practice of like, I'm symbolically sifting through all the old things of my old life and figuring out what I want to take with me and what I don't into the next chapter. And so this defeat, I don't feel like the defeat is like, and the reckoning, I don't feel like this is like new events per se. I feel like this is kind of like cleaning up the old life. It's like Groundhog Day when he starts getting his shit together and when he starts learning the piano. It's like, well, I mean, he's been defeated so many times. It's not like he can continue on, or he can continue on the way he's been, but it's growing stale and it's also like not moving the story forward. So in order for you to move your story forward, I think you're having to, I mean, actually, I like thinking of that this way too. Like, you're taking the pen of your own life, you're taking your sword, and you're being like, I'm in control of this narrative now. You know, I'm going to change the narrative. I'm going to do things differently. You have that determination, which is great. This fire, this is literally fire energy. So you have like a fire under your ass to like go after these new ideas that you have that are coming into existence. And you're like really going after your abundance and your fulfillment. I think you can see this. I think the new idea is related to this. Like, you can see very clearly what you really want and what you're capable of. And so this feels like kind of like it's kind of like, actually with this I get like a little bit of like the sword and the stone vibes, you know, too, like reclaiming your destiny and like knowing that you're the one who can wield the sword and knowing that like it's like kind of your sword of truth. And this is a card about truth too. So this is, I think, a month about you getting real with yourself. And when you get real with yourself, then you can really like step up into your true fiery energy of like, I'm determined to make this happen because I see how good it can be for me if I just go ahead and do it. And I have all these new ideas coming to me that are like really, that I'm excited about and that I can go after. So, I mean, it's basically cutting through the bullshit, acknowledging the truth, and taking the pen or taking the sword or just taking accountability and responsibility for your words. It's like being decisive and being clear and just being kind of like committed to the choices that you're making. Because like the hemming and hawing, I think, is what's really getting old, and maybe it's part of what is like holding you back a little bit, is like the stuff you're carrying that you no longer really need to be carrying because it's just not part of the story anymore. Like, again, to bring it back to Groundhog Day, it's like he's got to learn piano, he's got to learn how to do ice sculpture, he has to do something with his time. And, you know, this might be bigger changes too. It might be like setting, again, boundaries with people based on this perception of like, okay, well, I can see the truth of how you're treating me and I don't need to like deny my own truth or like my own perception. I can just call a spade because this is important to you and you gotta get it. Gotta go get it. Determination, new ideas, fulfillment, and abundance. Go get it. Alright, I mean, that's it. And I love you. And it sounds like a good month for some good positive changes that you're enacting. And I love you, and I'll see you in September. Bye.